Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I just want to start by saying rest in power, George Floyd, rest in power, Breonna Taylor, rest in power, Ahmaud Arbery. We will continue to say your names. In all honesty, it feels a little bit weird to be sitting here talking about turning an idea into action when there are thousands of protesters out there doing it right now, taking to the streets to demand justice. But with what time I have, I'll do my best to explain how I worked to turn an idea into action. My name is Liam Elkind, and I'm one of the co-founders of Invisible Hands, a nonprofit that delivers groceries, prescriptions, and other necessities to those most at risk during this crisis, including the elderly, the immunocompromised, the sick, and the disabled. And we're a proud fiscally sponsored project of the Giving Back Fund. Now, 2 months ago, I never would have expected to be talking at the Social Innovation Summit. I had absolutely no experience in nonprofit management, couldn't tell you what an EIN number was or anything like that. I was just a college kid, still am. But 2 months ago, I was watching doctors and nurses and public transportation workers literally risking their lives to help out those most in need during this crisis. And I remember thinking, what can I do to help? I've got all this time. I'm sitting at my home. I have all this time on my frequently washed hands, and there's got to be something that I can do. And that was when I saw a post on Facebook from a friend of mine and one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, Simone Policano. And she was asking if anybody knew of a volunteer service that connected young people to deliver groceries to those most at risk. And people were commenting saying, wow, I'd love to help. That sounds like a great idea, but I don't know of any service that does that exactly. So I reached out and, we said, what if we made that service? So we built a website, posted around a couple flyers, passed them around. We found a third partner and another brilliant woman, Healy, and we started making deliveries. Within 3 days, we had 2,700 volunteers. It's now been about 2 months, and we have over 10,000. Our flyers have been translated into 16 languages. We've delivered almost $1 million in food and medicine to at-risk communities throughout New York and New Jersey, and we're even expanding to Philadelphia next. And we've had outreach from all around the country and even the world, people stepping up to help their communities during this time of crisis to do some good in a world that feels so bad all the time. And, when we first got our $50 donation, we thought, money, oh my God, what are we supposed to do with money? So we built a subsidy program to offset the cost of groceries for those in need. And the good news was it became incredibly popular. We were able to help a bunch of people. The bad news was it became incredibly popular, and it actually, we were shelling out more than we were able to take in. So we had to shut the subsidy program down. But now we're actually partnering with pantries and other local institutions to provide free food to those most in need during this crisis. And one recipient actually reached out to us and told us that her father lived alone in New York and had been diagnosed with COVID. She lived in Michigan and wasn't able to get to him. He had no way of getting food. But she heard about our service on TV, and she placed a request on his behalf. And his volunteer would come to his apartment every week with food and with medicine, and then they would just sit on either side of his door, and they'd just talk about their lives, about their fears, their joys. I don't think they ever once actually saw each other. If they passed each other on the street, they wouldn't know who the other person was. But they became friends. And when he passed away of COVID, his daughter said that volunteer was able to be there for him, to be a comforting presence, to be a friend when she wasn't able to be there. And, we hear stories every day about how terrible and scary the world is, and rightfully so, it is scary. This disease has unveiled and exacerbated profound economic and racial disparities, and we're being tested every day to fight it. But if you look closely enough, you'll also hear stories of hope, of love, of support. It's a reminder that even sitting by ourselves in our own homes, we're not alone. There are legions of people out there who want to be your friend, your ally, your partner. Even after this disease ebbs, the powerful inequities left in its wake will remain. But by virtue of being here and watching this, you are an ear. It's on you and it's on me to think creatively, to turn ideas into action, and to make this world a safer and healthier place. Because innovation is not a spectator sport. Justice is not a spectator sport. And if you want to turn your idea into action, you got to roll up your sleeves and get involved. You'll make mistakes along the way. I mean, I've made hundreds over the last 2 months. In fact, our original flyer actually had my personal phone number on it. And then Blake Lively puts on my personal phone number on her Instagram. And then Senator Bernie Sanders emails out my phone number to everybody and says, call this number if you need free food. So don't do that. But you'll learn and grow so much. Hopefully you'll learn what a Google Voice number is earlier than I did. But by learning and growing, hopefully you'll make the world a little bit of a better place to live in. So please join us in our mission. Find out how you can help, and please reach out to me. My email is liam@invisiblehandsdeliver.org. My phone number is 917-359-1593. I probably shouldn't be giving it out as excitedly as I used to, but I take a while to learn. We're always looking for more partners in this fight. Because at a time when the world is pulling us apart, we have to be able to pull together. And by pulling together, we will pull through. Thanks so much for having me.